And next we have Burning Man, FIGMENT, and the regionals. Inside, outside, and out there. Talk is given by David Koren, who is the founder and executive producer of FIGMENT, a free, large-scale, volunteer-led participatory arts event based on Burning Man principles. FIGMENT started in New York City in 2007 and has since spread to other cities. FIGMENT has taken place 69 times in 20 cities in 5 countries on 4 continents.
Thank you. Thank you, Jukka-Pekka. And thank you all for making it to the last presentation before Marianne's close. I will promise to speak as quickly as I can and to show you a lot of stuff very, very fast. What's that?
Best for last.
Oh, you're so sweet. So I want to sort of ask you to think about the greater context that we do our work in, about the greater ecosystem of events that we're operating in, and give you the example of FIGMENT as a set of events that exists closely aligned with Burning Man, but outside of the organization, but parallel to it. And there's other things out there in the world like that. And how do we think about this broader ecosystem and how it all relates to each other? So, because I really believe that if we want to change the world, we have to engage with it as actively as possible. So, just to give you a little context about my own history with Burning Man, I first went in 2000, and flying in from New York was like landing on the moon, and I had no idea what this place was. I could not understand it. It was a place of mystery, magic, wonder, where anything's possible. There was a sense of freedom and excitement and danger. But what I was shocked to find immediately is with that danger was also a sense of safety and support, like emotional support, like people were nice, which I did not expect, but found immediately. And there was so much magic, and it was not like anywhere else. And something I noticed immediately was that time was weird. I don't know if you felt this, but time dilates and expands really strangely in that Playa environment. And what I later realized after reading about this experience is that that's a flow experience, and that a lot of people are in flow at once, and so time does weird things. But then I started asking deeper, like, what really is this? And to everybody, it's maybe a different thing. Burning Man is maybe a different thing to everybody. But to me, what I started to see, and this is a random picture from my camp in 2006, that anyone's welcome. And anyone's welcome to express themselves in any way they want, in whatever form it takes. And it can be personal, and it can be janky. And I love when it's janky, and I love when it's weird, and I love when it's unique, and I love when it's free. And to me, that's the transformative experience, is expressing yourself, pushing yourself out beyond your comfort zone, and then seeing the response to it, and getting reinforcement, and learning you're a bigger person than you thought you were. And this is a great thing for the individual and for society as a whole. And it gives us an ability to see each other. And notice I'm not defining Burning Man by sex, drugs, or techno music. This is a creative experience. What?
Tracks.
Sorry, Marion. So then, immediately started thinking, the next thought is, okay, so if that's what it is, then can we do that anywhere? And this is what can we do that anywhere? Or is there something inherently magical about the desert? Well, desert means a lot of things. I mean, historically, deserts have been a place where people have gone and wandered and had experiences. So there's something special about the desert. And it's inherently helpful to have a transformative experience there because it's really hard, because it's dusty as hell. And dust is a great equalizer, right? It's a challenge that brings us together and tells us we're all the same, we're all put off guard by it, we all need each other in this environment, no one is immune from this stuff. But despite that, can we really do it anywhere? And so, starting in the late 1990s and early 2000s, regionals started to appear around the world, as you know. And this is a picture from a New York decompression in 2003, where I sort of felt the same time experience that I was having at Burning Man, where it's like, oh wait, I'm on Playa at this decompression event. This is possible to do anywhere. And I've been to Flipside, I've been to PDF around this same time, and sort of seeing, how does this work? How does this mechanism work? How can we do this? And the next question is, can we do it with anyone? Do we need to do it with people like us? Do we need to do it with people who already understand all these things? Or can we do it with people who haven't experienced this before? How inclusive can we be? How bought in do we need the people who are experiencing this to be in everything we're about? And that's where FIGMENT comes in. Showing freedom, joy, and trust, bringing creativity, trying to create it for everyone, for free. Stretching the inclusion principle as far as it can possibly stretch, bringing the lessons of Burning Man to our cities. We started on this island in New York Harbor. It was an old military base. It was turned over to New York City in 2003. I went out there in 2005 and thought, this island needs something. Let's do something here. It needs a new brand. And Figment, over the years, over 12 years of doing an event here, became a catalyst for transforming this island and bringing an entire audience to this island through a lot of partnerships and a lot of motivating other groups to go out there. And you have to take a ferry to get there. So you still have to make a decision. It's not buying a ticket X months in advance, getting your camp together, going through Reno. It's just getting on a boat. But just that process of whether it's getting on a boat or stepping across the street, you're making a decision to be part of something. You're giving yourself over to what's possible in a new environment. And it works. I'm going to show you a quick 1-minute video. It's brand new, that a volunteer created, that shows a lot of different stuff from different figments around the country and world, around the US and around the world. It's loud. Okay. So as Jukka-Pekka said, we've done this. Tomorrow is our 69th Figment event in our 20th city in Dallas, Texas. And it's our first event in Texas. It's a whole new place for us. It's a city that's really exciting right now at this moment. It's the hottest real estate market in the United States, actually, strangely enough. And it's great to be there. And I'm not sorry I'm here, but I would be there if I were not here. So I'm thrilled to be here. And what's that?
You're sorry you're where?
I'm sorry I can't be in two places at once. This is my favorite quote ever about Figment from the press. If Figment were a country, it would be the happiest in the world, and I would apply for citizenship immediately. I'm just going to show you a bunch of pictures really, really fast that show you the kinds of projects, the kinds of joy that are created. Some are large, some get to be large scale in different places. I'm showing you pictures from different Figment events in different places. So it's totally free, and we believe that everyone's an artist. So it's about inspiring people to create, and that can be amateurish. I mean, this project involves a stick, a sign, and lemonade, and it's an interactive project. Everything has to be interactive. So we're bringing down barriers between people and encouraging people to play together who have never met before and create together. Giving permission for people to explore themselves, to push their comfort zones, maybe not as far as they do on the playa, but in a similar way that happens on the playa. And there's no advertising, there's no sponsorship, there's nothing for sale. It's funded through donations and grants. Asking people the question, if they could do anything, what would they do? Build large art projects, work together, do performances. So what impact does this have in the world and in these communities? Well, first of all, it inspires joy. It builds community among the people that participate in this event. We have 1,000 volunteers who work on Figment around the world and about 1,000 artists. Empowers people to express themselves, fosters collaboration in interesting ways between artists, between projects. This is an inflatable project and belly dancers that had never met before. Promotes optimism in the world. If we can all come together and socialize, we can see what we've got and roll in it together. And that's a positive thing. Enables learning, whether it's about bugs and eating bugs, or about crafting and making things, or learning a new instrument. It supports diversity, people coming together who are maybe from different socioeconomic groups, or different classes, or different races, or different backgrounds to play together. And it builds leaders. These are just some pictures of some of our Figment teams. This is an event we've done on Governor's Island for years that's a global producers brunch. So producers come in for other Figment events around the world. And some of these people are burners and some of these aren't. Some of these communities start with burners and some of them don't.
How long have you been doing that?
5 or 6 years.
Cool.
And it incubates new ideas. This is a design competition we do in New York to design a pavilion. It's an architectural design competition we've been doing for 7 years. And have gotten some really strange and wonderful projects that live on the island for the entire summer. This project was actually designed by an architect from Spain. This is up on Governor's Island now, designed by an architecture professor from Cornell University. We also do, we incubate new ideas, great. We have another program called Alpha that's been going for 6 years. It's a camping event that's sort of an artist retreat for Figment artists. It gets about 100 people. And what we do is we create an expectation that every single person brings a project. There actually are no spectators at all. This is rodent taxidermy. So you'll see projects that are a little more dangerous than normally at Figment, or a little more controversial, a little unsafe. There's a very strong waiver. It's a ticketed event, like a burn event. I had to. So far we've done 69 Figment events and 6 alphas in 20 cities in 5 countries and 4 continents over 12 years. And each event varies a great deal in terms of the number of people that participate and the number of days. Our smallest events are a couple hundred people, and then our largest events have gotten up to 25,000 participants. And art projects too. It can be a few art projects or an enormous number over an entire island or plot of land.
And what's the motto for those art projects?
Well, the alpha motto is if you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. Alpha as a place of experimentation is about inspiring people to push themselves, again, outside their comfort zone to create something they wouldn't otherwise create that can fail, and that's a good thing. So we've had a lot of talk over, I got here late yesterday, but over all the sessions I've seen about money, and we had a lot of talk in our country about money. For Figment, money is not the limiting factor. We've created a model that's really, really efficient. It's really cheap to do this. The annual budget for Figment in the United States is under $250,000. We have 2 employees. I'm a volunteer. Everyone else is a volunteer. And so it's not about the money. It's about how much you care. How much you care about your community. How much you care about creativity. How much you care about the people around you. How much you care about the place you live. That's really what it's about. Here's an example of a producer in Jackson, Mississippi. And she is not a burner, will never be a burner. But she's a teacher, and she's really committed to the city of Jackson. And she wrote on her t-shirt, "Sometimes you have to create what you want to be a part of." And she led Figment in Jackson. And one of the key lessons that I try to teach, and we do a lot of mentoring within Figment, that I try to teach the leaders within Figment, is you can't expect anyone to care more than you do about your project. You, as the project person, you're going to be the person who cares the most. And a lot of people are surprised by that. Like, why don't my friends care as much as I do? And that's not a reasonable expectation. So, just wanted to kind of loop back around. And this was a still from a TEDx talk I gave at Burning Man in 2011, which is the last year that I was at Burning Man. And it was a real time that I felt there was a fundamental shift in the culture. And some of you may agree, with the tickets finally demand exceeding supply at Burning Man, and finally you couldn't go. Everybody couldn't go. Everybody would not fit who wanted to go to Burning Man anymore. And what did that mean? And so I gave a TED talk about Figment where I really talked about trying to turn our energies out into the world and trying to really think about the other 7 billion people on Earth who aren't part of our culture yet, and how do we reach them? And then I was really honored to be invited 2 years ago to a philosophical convening at Esalen with the Burning Man staff. Thank you so much, Marianne, for having me there, where we spent about 4 days really diving into a lot of what Burning Man was about. And one of the craziest things that happened at that convening was that different groups were basically locked in a room for 8 hours. And the group I was with spent 8 hours in a room in a yoga studio together talking about decentralization and talking about how we conceive of the global reach of our events. And I managed to find the graphics that we created, just 2 pages. But we had this idea of a broader ecosystem, and we called it Humanity on Fire, is what we called it in that group. And with Burning Man being one of a network of organizations that could work together in collaboration to further our philosophy, values, the way we believe the world, the way we believe what we believe about the world, and we could philosophically burn the man as our goal. And another graphic was this idea of this Humanity on Fire could be, think about it more as a federal system somehow. I don't know that this is quite fully baked, but there was some. I won't tell you that story.
1 minute.
Okay, great. And I think in our world, one challenge we have in our world today is a centralization problem. Is that things are becoming more centralized. Companies are getting bigger. There are fewer smaller companies. Certain people are getting richer, while most of us are getting poorer. Certain cities are winners and losers now. And how do we as a society really embrace decentralization and find a way for it to be efficient and effective and the right way to go forward in everything we do? And that's a challenge we have to solve, and I'll leave you with that.